Hey, Bianca here, and welcome to Teach Like Bianca. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things that you should not be doing as a teacher. Let's go ahead and get started. So you're probably wondering, what do you mean stupid mistakes that teachers are doing? Teachers don't make mistakes. We're smart, we're educated. We actually teach people to learn. So some of these mistakes you're probably doing and don't even realize it, or you're around it and don't even realize it. Let's go ahead and get into the very first one, and that is being negative. So if you are a person that's always negative, maybe you're negative about your building, your admin, the work that you have to do, everything that is around you is making you negative in the teaching environment, maybe it's time for you to find another profession. I remember my very first year, I was coming into a very hostile environment where teachers did not like the admin at all. They were so negative, I felt like I was in the wrong profession. And I didn't really know what I was getting into. I didn't know what was going on. It's my first year. I'm just excited to be there and have my own classroom. And this is what I'm going into. Getting all that negativity ruins it for first year teachers. And it's good for teachers to know what different types of admin there are and your workload and things like that. And being negative about it is something that you need to be self-aware about if there's people around you that are negative, because it just brings you down and leads you into burnout and just really feeling like you hate coming to work. And that's not what you want to feel like, because students are able to notice that even if you don't think that they can. Watch out on being negative and negativity that is happening in the workplace. This next one, this is for all my mostly secondary teachers, because this is kind of where I see this happening, but it could happen in elementary level, but taking things personal. So something a student says, something even that happens in the workplace with the other staff, taking things personal that will lead you into going back into that negative mindset, or making you feel like you have to argue with others or have a guard up at work, when you have to remember you are there for the student. You are there to teach, and you are there to lead and lead by an example. You may not think, oh, this is, I need to have a great experience overall with staff. I need to make friends with other teachers, things like that. And that's all okay. And that might be good for your well-being. But number one, you're there for the student. And if you take something personal that they say, you have to remember they're just a kid. They're still learning and they're still growing. Meanwhile, you are educated. You're an educator, and you need to understand that some of the things that a student might say, they don't mean it. And you could always start the next day anew or refreshed. And I've been in these situations before where you might be coming to head with a student that it doesn't stop. And it's almost every day, but the next day they act like nothing even happened previously. Don't get into that personal atmosphere where they're just have it out for you, because I hear more stories about teachers having it out for a student than students having it out for teachers. Which leads into my next tip: to not have power struggles and arguments and getting a back and forth with a student where you end up arguing. That taints the entire class, and a lot of students will end up talking about it and reflecting and going back to that particular moment where you let your guard down and you just started arguing back and forth with a student. It's not worth it. If you're not taking it personal, these things aren't going to happen and fall into line later on. Make sure that you're not getting into these arguments with students, especially in front of other people, especially if you're not having a follow-up afterward with the student to come to terms on, hey, we shouldn't be acting like this. We need to start over again. What can we do? You need to learn how to rebuild that relationship. That also might mean you need to have a classroom circle, or have a counselor come in, or a behavior interventionist, or somebody come in that just resets the classroom and resets the tone for you and that student, because what happened in that classroom taints the entire student body in that classroom. So you need to learn how to rebuild off of that, and that takes away from instruction time. So you don't want to get in these power struggles where it's going to take away from instruction time, because now you got to backpedal and fix the things that were happening. The next thing, and this is for all my new teachers out there, especially my new teachers, because sometimes you don't know, but this is saying yes to everything. And when I mean saying yes to everything, you're getting asked to be on, saying yes to the PBIS committee on Monday, the Sunshine Committee on Tuesday, the MTSS committee on Wednesday, and just so forth. Being a part too much, meaning this is part of your career, you're working very hard to, set a name for yourself, reach those goals, maybe become teacher of the year, whatever it is, and you're just saying yes to everything, and that leads you to a point of burnout. Don't want to have your plate filled in terms of you getting burned out, because that's not just going to reflect you, but it's going to reflect your students, because your teaching ability is not going to be the same. And it might lead to you leaving the career altogether because you're burned out and you're realizing you're saying yes to everything. You want to learn how to say no, because that is very critical. In my course, Reclaim Your Life for Teachers, the self-care course, I talk about saying no and how to say no and what that means when you do say no, and how you have this time and energy that you didn't know that you had before once you start scaling back on things that you were saying yes to previously. I'm going to link that course down below just in case you want to check it out. But the number one part of self-care is just making sure that you take care of yourself first. Take care of what you need to do first, so you're not always saying yes to everything and then leading to burnout. Scale back. I know if you do want to get your name out there, there's ways to do that. Say yes to one thing, master that one thing, and then move on to the next thing, or wait till the next year. Don't do everything all at once. The next one, and this is, I don't even know how to fit this in, or if you ever heard of this before, but this is eating lunch in one place. You could tell a lot by the type of teachers you work with by just eating in the lunchroom, the staff lunchroom. So if you're eating in the teacher's lounge daily, it could be very toxic. It could be where a lot of that negativity was coming up before. People can ask you things on the fly in there, and that's where you're saying yes. A lot of things happen in that lunchroom that could lead you to not be a teacher anymore, or to continue teaching. If you're only eating in the lunchroom, take some time for yourself and eat by yourself in your classroom, or eat by yourself in your car. If you have time, go get something once in a while, not every day, but make sure that you are moving things around. Many times where I'd eat in the lunchroom, but sometimes you just don't want to have that teacher talk, because that kind of overpowers your lunchtime and you just want to unwind. Go sit in your classroom and eat alone, or just maybe eat with you and a couple other your teacher besties, or, and this is way out of the realm for a lot of teachers, going in the cafeteria with the students. Sometimes I just wanted to eat in the cafeteria with the students and hang out with them, get to know them on a personal level. And I would do that once or twice a week. Not a lot, but a lot of teachers, they were afraid to go to the cafeteria. And I was one that would like to go and just see what students were like outside the classroom. It also gives you a chance to see who their friends are, what are they doing, are they eating by themselves. You kind of want to at least go in there once a month to kind of check up on things. And I know in one of my old school districts, we used to be able to have students eat in our classroom. So instead of doing that, I said I wanted to go eat with you guys in the cafeteria, and flipped it on them. It also made a big impact because students invited me and other teachers to come sit with them at their table, and it really made a welcoming environment. And it's important to know that you as a person, you want to go where you feel the most welcome. And I would get the most welcome to go eat with the students than to go eat in the teacher's lounge. It made a big difference in my day and my week. It also made a big difference in changing up my scenery at lunch. So if I needed to unwind, if I was having a rough day, I know I could just eat in my classroom alone. If I was needing some sort of positive spirits, I would go eat in the cafeteria with the students. And if I needed some talk or some insight about another student, I would go eat in the staff lounge. So those are my 5 stupid teacher mistakes that can happen, that do happen, and getting caught up in something that you shouldn't do throughout the school year that might just seem routine. Make sure you check out my other videos below in the description for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email address is down there below. And if you have any tips for me, any video ideas, I'll be willing to take all those as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.